Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another version of Video Visions with me, your literacy coach, Kristen. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the hugs and love that you gave me last week at in-service. If I wasn't able to see you or give you a hug, I'm sending one to you virtually right now. So we are going to embark on a new adventure since we are finished with all of our domain-centered strategies and ideas, which remember can all be found on my Google site. I'm going to start doing something called strategies that work. And these will be sent to you just like the video visions were every Friday with short little tips and tricks on things that you can implement immediately. Some of these strategies might be new. Some of them you've probably heard of, and maybe you can take a new twist onto that. So let's get started on talking about anticipation guides. So I know many of you use anticipation guides or some sort of knowledge rating survey at the beginning and ending of your lesson. You might even use a Kahoot or a Mentimeter or a poll everywhere, and we'll talk about some of those digital guides more towards the end of this little video. But I just wanted to share out some of the great benefits of using these guides. They're loved by teachers all over because of their ability to engage students in new information and challenge them to critically think about what they already know or what they hope to know about a topic or a concept. And so what this does is it sets a purpose for our lesson, even for those students who may not initially be engaged or excited about the content that you're going to teach. This kind of really stimulates their interest and gets them thinking before you get, knee deep into the concept itself. So these are some examples of, some simple anticipation guides. The one on the right allows you to use the same slide before the lesson and then after the lesson. So looking at the concept or the topics, vocabulary words, objectives, having the kids agree, disagree, rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 5 before the lesson begins, and then coming back and reevaluating their new knowledge after the lesson is over. What I really like about this one in the top left-hand corner is when you come back to revisit it, you make the kids prove their new knowledge. You don't just let them agree or disagree or, let them rate themselves on how they feel about the new knowledge. You make them prove their new learning. So take a minute and think about, which type of anticipation guides am I currently using? Am I using these at the beginning of my lesson, but not at the end? And maybe I can, implement them at the end as well. If you're not using any of this, can you see this being used in your current live lesson as part of the bell ringer or, sending something like this to your students before a DBA so they can kind of, get a feel for what it is that you're going to be talking about with them and then completing it again at the end after they leave the phone call. Think about placement. Do you place it at the beginning and at the end? Am I only placing it at the end? What mirrors it or what is needed at the beginning? You can also do these fun anticipation guides, if you're doing a segment exam review or something like that, where you're introducing various topics so that you can kind of gauge where the students are at before you begin each individual topic. Anticipation guides are super easy to construct. You basically just have to identify the ideas or the objectives in the lesson, consider what the kids are already going to know or not know, write those general statements that challenge the student's thoughts, and then require a student's response. So, when I'm asking you, where would you place it in the lesson, think about having them complete it before the lesson, have them complete it after the lesson. They can even go along and use it as part of a guided note template to complete throughout the lesson. These really spark some good conversation and discussion. So just some things to think about. So I know that in our digital age, We are ditching the paper and pencil kind of anticipation guides, and we're having our students use all these online survey tools to make what I consider guesses about their content. Some of us use Poll Everywhere. We're using Kahoot, quizzes. Mentimeter is a fun new one. And these will truly grab your students' attention. But what I love even more is it provides instant feedback. And this allows you to modify your live lesson depending on how the students feel coming into the lesson about the content that you're going to teach. And then using that same tool after the lesson about that certain topic allows the students to see how much they've improved, and then also lets you say, hey, John, I see that, we're still a little confused about, this objective. Why don't you hang back for a couple minutes and we'll make sure that you leave, feeling successful. Or I can, feed forward some great resources on ways that you can, learn more information about the certain topic. I've always loved using these anticipation or prediction guides because I've even found students looking and sort of asking for the information to see if they were correct or not, or having those aha moments as the lesson goes through when they say, oh my God, I got that right in the anticipation guide, or oh my gosh, that's not what I thought it was. So there's nothing like a little bit of self-competition to kind of keep the kids engaged as well. So if you wanted to know where I am getting all these amazing strategies that I'm going to be using throughout this series, please check out www.adlit.org. It's titled All About Adolescent Literacy, and it really has a great strategy library for you to pick and choose, examples, and it basically sets up, how to lay it out. It's just an amazing website. Please remember that all these video visions will be housed on my Google site, and reach out for support anytime. I'm always happy to help. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me.